Tuesday night, what is done? Can't go out. Loo roll's gone. Kettle's on. Put your kettle on. Pencils out. News is off. Got take out. Spend all night with good friends, best friends. Life drawing till the end. The bitter end. Get your sketchbooks out. Everybody's drawing. That's what it's about. Quarantine is boring. Get your sketchbooks out. Lock down life drawing. Ooh. Ow. Get your sketchbooks out. Everybody's drawing. That's what it's about. It's what it's about. Quarantine is boring.
Quite boring.
Get your sketchbooks out.
I got my sketchbook out.
Lock down life drawing. Hey everyone, welcome to week 8. Let's get our sketchbooks out. Come on! Woo! Let's do this. Okay. Bit of a heat wave in the UK. It's stay hydrated. Got some good water. Oh, I love that water. That's my big tip for this week. Stay hydrated. Right, what are we doing? Last week was hands. Absolutely brilliant. So much structure in your drawings. I was so overwhelmed by that. You picked that up so well, brilliantly. This week it's long poses. Okay, we're going to slow it down. We're going to slow it down with heat wave here. We need a bit of a siesta going on. And we're going to look at the kind of, what is it? The academic way of drawing. Okay, so let's imagine we're in Florence. Okay, it's nice and hot. We're in some art academy, and we're gonna take a classical approach to drawing. Okay, so it might not be everyone's way of drawing, but I think it's really good to learn how to draw this way, so that you can bring a little bit of accuracy, bring a little bit of proportion into your drawings where you need to. So I've got some great poses for you. Let's look at the schedule. Let's have a look. Let's see what we got going. Hello. Right. Negative space warm up. Who doesn't love a bit of negative space? Yes, let's do this. Okay. Then tools for accuracy. Okay, so we're gonna delve into that toolbox and give you some tips that hopefully are going to help you out. Then we're going to go into a long pose. I'm going to take you through it step by step, and good 40 minutes on that pose. So really getting into it. I think it's the longest pose we've done on the stream. That tea break, although I might swap that out for like an iced coffee or something. Something cold, something nice and cold. I want to do a view of the gallery for that first pose. I want to see some of them pieces, so make sure you're sending them in. jakebustleart.art@gmail.com, and we'll get to see them first, the images from that first pose. Then we're going to jump straight into a second pose, another great image, and check out your work from that too. So let's do it. Get them sketchbooks out. Negative space warm up. Right. So for this one, I'm using charcoal. For the next drawing, I'm going to be doing the sanguine pencil, chalk pastel basically. And then for the third one, I'm going to use charcoal pencil. So that's what I'm using. You're welcome to join in with anything you've got, even just a pencil and some paper. Anything you've got lying around, it will work for today. Okay, so negative space warm up. Negative space, so important, and it really is a tool for accuracy. Okay, so wherever you're drawing, it's a great, brilliant to just be able to switch your head, switch your mind and your eyes to that negative space way of seeing things. Okay, it activates that observational seeing eye. So I've got an overlay for this just to show you what I mean. So here's the negative space of this pose. Really wacky pose. I've never drawn anyone like in this pose before, and it's going to be really tricky, but I thought best to do something that we've not seen before, so we can really then focus on the negative space. So what I want you to do, follow around the edges of this pose. Okay, so you're going to follow around the edges, and then we're going to take the side of the charcoal and fill in all of that black area around the figure. Okay, so if this is a leg, we're going to fill in everywhere around the figure. So 5 minutes on this. Try and focus around the figure, not on the figure. And you remember, as much as you can, just focus on the subtleties of the line changes. Okay, I think I'm going to start at the bottom there. And yeah, let's give it a go. 5 minutes, let's warm up. Let's have some fun. Okay, so here we go. Right, negative space, so we're going to slow down a little bit. I'm trying to imagine. It's almost like I'm drawing that galaxy rug. I'm not even noticing that there's a person there at all. Okay, let's not worry about the proportions of this. This is our first drawing. Let's just activate that eye and loosen up. Okay, I'm just gonna put the arc of the fingers on for now. Got a dodgy bit of charcoal, I think. Right. That's it. What's that leg doing? It's sort of going in and it's out again. And it's really far. Going really far out. Not got much time. Let's try and get the whole outline and fill in that negative space. Oh, I think I went too far with the foot. Right. Something like this. Look at that negative space inside the figure there, between the sort of chest and the arm there. Just try and get that other side of the body. Three minutes left. So I haven't yet looked at the figure, just around the figure. Whew. Okay, so there we go. Hi everyone. Hi Jamie. Hi Laura. Hi Nikki. Hi Rekha. Hi Linda. So I'm going to take the side of my charcoal now and just fill in all of this negative space. And if I have time at the end, I'll continue to refine the outline. That's it. If you enjoy the stream this week, please consider giving the video a like. That really helps us out, and maybe even joining the club and subscribing. Don't forget this bit here. Okay, I think I've got some negative space there. Just doing a few little changes. Oh, maybe I'll put in the gaps between the fingers right at the end. Something like that. Okay, there we go. Negative space. 5-minute exercise. Well done, everyone. How did you get on? Boom. Boom. Brilliant. So that's our first tool, negative space. Just switching the mind to looking around the figure and get the spaces in between. Really, really handy. Let's look at some more tools now. So I don't know, you might want to take a few notes. Oh, there we go. You might want to take a few notes. I might do a few little sketches as I run through these tools. We've got a good friend, David, to be our model for this, for explaining the tools. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Hey Max, all good?
Just the mic.
Something wrong with the microphone.
Just mute it.
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second, guys. Cool, we're back. Microphone was jogging about a little bit. I think Max has fixed it for us. So hopefully that sounds a little bit better. Now, David's kindly posing for us. Let's look at our first tool. So, estimation and measuring. Okay, so you've probably heard of measuring before, and I've chucked in estimation there just to spice it up a little bit. So, kind of using a measurement of a head as a unit of measurement to measure other areas of the body. So let's have a little look at these examples. There we go, there we have it. So working our way down, 1, 2, 3, 4 heads. And actually, sort of an idealized figure should be around 8 heads long. So 4 heads, and we're at the bottom of the pelvis. That's really good, that's a really good sign. So you can see how we can measure down and we can start to note things. Now, next slide, I'm putting on some salient points. Okay, salient points are things that are, what are they? They're kind of the most important and noticeable parts of something. Okay, salient points. So in this case, they're like little anchor points that we can use, little layout points that we can use to help our accuracy. So I've got a little thing here. We can see that, hold on, there we go. We can see that 1.5 or just below half heads down, we've got this clavicle. So that's a good little measurement there. We know that. We can know it's 1.5 heads down. The nipples are at an angle, good to note, but they're about 2 heads down. And this fold in the armpit, that's about 2 heads, all right? So this isn't going to be for every figure, but this is just kind of what we're noticing here after we put these measurements on. Oh, look, the elbow That's about 1, 2, and 2.5 and a little bit. Okay, so this is where we bring in the estimation. We're not going to measure every little finite detail. We have to estimate kind of ratios. There's this bit going in on the chest there, the belly button, the pupic. Really important that we get that. So that's 1, 2, 3 heads down. Okay, so you can see how the head measurements are giving us these salient points that we can note down at the start of a drawing, and they're really going to, you know, solidify the sketch underneath that. Okay, so what have we got next? Oh, estimation and measuring again, but this time going across the body. Okay, so going across, and what I've done is I've taken that measurement for the head. Okay, you can use the tip of your pencil and your thumb to get the measurement, and then I've turned it. Okay, so I'm not necessarily measuring the head across like this. I'm measuring the head from the top to the bottom, and I'm moving it around. I'm using that as my kind of my centimeters or my inches. And some really important things. Okay, so that the boundary of the arm, we can note that that's what, say, 2/3 or 3/4 of the way across here. The neck, measurements of the neck, and the end of the hand. So we're starting to see. Oh, look, from this line across, there's the side of the arm. Okay, the elbow. So actually, this is going to be really useful for us to map out. What have we got next? Alignment. Brilliant. So we're always going to start in this traditional method with a line down the figure. It's straight. My camera's a little bit wonky today. But we're always going to start with a line down the figure and then come off of it and create these salient points, okay, that are going to help us draw the figure. So alignment is actually really useful. We can see here the back of the ear is aligning with the nipple, the armpit with the bottom of the hand here, this shoulder with the knuckle, the tip of the hair with the knuckle here, the eye, the lips, the belly button. So looking for these things that are lining up, another great tool. Next, diagonal lines. Okay, angles of diagonals. So here we go. It's a few diagonals. You might have seen in a portrait or sort of drawings. I often go from the side of the head down to where the shoulder is, and this is like a diagonal line, and it's got an angle. And it's really important that we get the angles right for these. Okay, diagonal lines are really useful where things can't line up with straight lines and that sort of thing, but really important that we get these angles correct. Okay, I'm going to use some of these in the long pose, and hopefully, you know, show you them in action. And just here's an example of if we get one of these angles wrong, even just a little bit, right? We get this angle wrong, so that this line isn't quite the right, coming at quite the right way, and we would end up with a big shoulder, wouldn't we? If we put a salient point here, if we put a point there as a guide, we'd end up with one big shoulder. So really important, even the diagonal lines. Implied lines. Okay, we looked a little bit on this on rhythm, but you know, they're, I think, very useful for accuracy. So here there's kind of a suggested line on the wrist, and that just so happens to line up with the nipple here. So actually that's a good thing to check. You know, there are little just things that you can check all over the figure. So this is lining up with the leg here. The clavicle, if we follow that on, it's lining up with this knuckle. Maybe a little invisible line here, even curved lines. And I just extended the finger, and it just sort of entered the dip there, where just below the lip. So these implied lines, also really good to look out for. What have we got next? Sight size. Okay, so sight size in the schools in Florence and different places, they'll be drawing and painting in sight size. So if I was to draw this reference in this sort of size, I'm going to have a hard time to get the proportions right, and if I'm going too big, I'm going to have a hard time to get the proportions. So actually, have a think about where your sketch pad is, how far away you are from the screen. Okay, and we're going to try and draw a little bit sight size today. So I want you to try and make what you see on the screen similar size to the thing that you're drawing. Okay, and that will naturally help with accuracy as well. Okay, because we have a tendency to really struggle with changing the size of things. Cool. Couple of other tips: we can take a picture of our work. Sometimes seeing it on a camera, really good tool. Just you might see something that you haven't seen before. Use a mirror to reflect your work. Take a step back and just go get a drink of water, step back, come back to your drawing, and even just a few steps back, you might see the broader picture. Also tilt your surface. Okay, so this drawing board is tilted up towards the screen, and that way it's not skewing the perspective. All right, so if it wasn't tilted, if it was like this, can you see that it's going to skew my drawing, and perhaps I'm going to end up accidentally drawing the feet or the lower part of the drawing smaller than it needs to be. Okay, and yeah, I think maybe that's enough tools for now. And let's jump into a long pose. It's really hot in here. I got the light and everything, but I hope you're doing okay. I hope you got your water. We can do this. So, pose number 1. Got this lovely image of this lady, and just had to draw this, and I really wanted to share this. Quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. With their support, we can afford to use pay for better reference images, so it really helps. So thank you so much. And yeah, we get to share this with you. So let's start off. Let's have a look at how we're going to start this. I'm going to go in with a sanguine pencil. Hey Luke, good to see you. Okay, so I've got a few little overlays. Here's our center line. So perhaps let's put a line on the paper. Nice straight line down the middle. And think about our boundaries. Okay, that's a little bit, might get Max to come in and, oh, that's a bit better. Oh, no, I'm out of focus. Hold on. There we go. Is that better? Okay. Center line, and we've got to think about our boundaries: top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to have much of an issue left and right, but the top and bottom. Yeah, got it sorted.
Yeah, you all good?
Yeah, should be good.
Okay. Come with a fan of it.
Yeah, thanks. So let's put a line on where you'd like to finish the drawing at the top, and a line at the bottom. Always tend to go out of accuracy and things when we're trying to fit a drawing on the page. Trying to fit the legs on at the bottom. So if we set this out to begin with, we hopefully won't have that problem. Now let's look at the heads. Let's look at the unit of measurement. So I've not gone from the top of the hair, but where I think the skull is. Okay, so from the chin to the top of the skull. So I'm just gonna roughly estimate that's about that far down. Let's see how many more heads we can fit on. 1, 2, 3.5, maybe 3 and a bit. So let's work out this now. 1, 2, 3 and a bit. So actually I need to go a lot. Well, sorry, 4 and a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. So I could move this up. What I'm going to do though is make the line for the head slightly lower down, and hopefully that will bring it to the size that I estimated at the beginning. One, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. So not far off. I'm just going to move my line up a little bit. That's my bottom boundary. And I've got my head marks placed in. Okay, so I think that's a good place to start. And this right here is our unit of measurement. Now I just want to, you're going to have to be measuring from the model as well. So when you're looking at the model, take your pencil, straight arm, okay, don't bend your arm, got to keep it straight, and tilt your head towards your shoulder and close the eye that's furthest away from the shoulder. And there you have it. You can line up the tip of the pencil and your thumb with the head of the model, and then you can go search around the model and find different measurements. Okay, use this and see what lines up. And yeah, so keep your arm straight. If you were to bend your arm, it would change the size of the measurement. And really useful to sort of tilt your head this way, because if you're drawing from life and you just have your head here, the pivot point's here on your shoulder, so you will get a slightly different angle. If you move closer to the pivot point, it'll be a little bit more accurate. So I know everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to look ridiculous in a life class doing this, but you should be doing it. It's great. You know, even if you want to, you know, I suggest estimate the measurements first and just check them. Just check 1 or 2 just to get your drawing off to a good start. So here we go. Let's take away, I'll leave them measurements up for just a little bit more. I was going to start the timer. Now, let's start finding some of them important points of the body. Let's do a little bit of measurements, a little few alignments, find them salient points. Okay, here we go. So, the bottom of the hand there, just above halfway, we've got this, the top of the hand, mark that on. Chin comes out a little bit, I'm just estimating. I'm just using straight lines right now, using quite lightly with the pencil. So we know the bottom of this elbow is just below that second head. Right, let's align this so we've got the head, and actually that elbow comes out further than the head, so we can put a line here a little bit further out to suggest where that would be. So that's probably the skull actually, isn't it? Yeah, so I want you to go around the figure now, putting on straight lines and just marks that you think are important, all right? And we'll begin to check them. So let's look at this leg. Cuts through this point. Cuts through this point. Can you see? Get the hand out again. Cuts through there. It's not quite halfway, it's just above halfway, and then it cuts through here. So let's think about where that is, probably about here. going to take away the grid now. Okay, so I want you to be measuring. We know that that's the head measurement. So now you put your arm out, make the size of the head with a pencil, and you can use it elsewhere. So actually, I'm measuring one head across to the edge of the shoulder there. It's below the chin a little bit. Okay, so let's just keep putting these marks on. Let's work through this drawing. So this is kind of like the classical approach. Not as responsive and expressive as what we were doing on previous weeks, but I think good every now and again to really test yourself, because I think, you know, what we're doing here, we're really, every line we put down, we're checking and we're trying to get right. So that sort of discipline is good. Okay, so that was there. It's a lot harder without them head measurements, isn't it? But if you need to go back, measure them, mark them down in your memory. The more we get on the page, the more it will start to make sense. Does it make a difference if you're small? No, I don't think it does. Good question. Maybe if your eyes are, you know, closer to the ground, you've got a bit of a different perspective on a real life model, but I don't think you're going to have any trouble. Just be a slightly different viewpoint. Something to make your art unique. Right, here we go. So the foot's actually coming out quite a lot. It's nice to be able to spend a bit more time, not having to worry. I'm having a bit of an issue with that arm there. I'm measuring that it's about half of a head, so I need to bring it in, and I'll bring the head in think I overestimated the width. One of my art tutors in college always used to say to me, you know, no matter how long you've spent on a drawing, no matter how long you've spent on a certain part, if it's not right, fix it. Okay, rub it out, go again. Okay, if you get lazy, if you're leaving parts that you know are wrong, then you know you're just stopping yourself from improving and seeing the right. You know, so be ruthless. If you even think it's wrong, just check it. Check what you've estimated, and have another go. Quite a difficult pose, this, with the arms sort of overlapping. Let's have a go. Hair here. Some people are asking about grids and whether grids are cheating, using grid to draw. I don't think so. I think even the masters use grids to scale up their drawings. So I think any tool that's going to help you achieve what you're looking for, you know, achieve your vision, you know, go ahead, use it. Why not? There's no such thing as cheating in art, is there? Just go for it. Create that image. The thing is about grids is they're a good way to start drawing because you are naturally going to train your eye. So you're almost, you know, doing what we're doing here, but breaking it down into small sections. So each little square is like a challenge for you, and you're gonna train that that visual seeing eye. So observational eye. So whatever you feel is necessary. Right, I think let's work out the head, features for curling, wrapping round. Let's curly hair. Okay, I think everything's nearly just about sketched in. So what I'm going to do is take it to the next stage, which is kind of refining the lines. Okay, so I'm going to be refining these lines, and so we're correcting them. I'm going to rub out the whole drawing slightly just to make it a little bit lighter on the page, and I'm going to go in with a little bit more of a nuanced and observational line, and also I'm going to mark the changes from light and dark, so some contour lines, that sort of thing. But once you're happy with your blocked out grid drawing, we can start to move on. So what you notice when you're measuring like this is actually things are a lot different than you would have imagined. You know, there's a lot more of the legs, isn't there? A lot less of this. I would say even maybe I've been a bit generous with the arms, and there's even less of the arms and more of the legs, but we'll see. Okay. So I'm going to take a putty rubber and rub out the whole drawing, just lightening it. I've got a sketch there that's fairly accurate. That's now going to guide my lines. I can put a little bit more energy, a little bit more of that responsiveness back into the drawing. And I know that, you know, more or less there. Okay. Getting carried away with detail. I need to look at the bigger picture. I hope you're enjoying this long pose. Right, I've seen a mistake here. So this shoulder is almost lining up with this chin line, and in the reference it's a lot higher. So I think I bring the face down a little bit and bring the shoulder up a little bit. So there we go, using alignment. To check out our drawing. Come back to that in a minute. I can just afford to be a little bit more descriptive with these subtleties around the flesh. And that second layer, so much chance, so much room to just correct. Okay, so this fold here lines up with the start of this, the lower part of this leg. Got a little bit of alignment. Whenever fabric or something is obscuring a part, say there was a pillow here on the foot, make sure you're crossing the form. So I've gone beyond the form so that the viewer knows, okay, there's fabric, there's something there. That's why the form is kind of not complete. Because if if it wasn't obvious, it might look like a something wrong. So what have we done? We started with alignment. We put that center line. We've looked for alignment elsewhere on the figure. We measured the head. We measured how many heads down the figure, across the figure, and anywhere else, to get some salient points, to get some really interesting and important anchor points. Okay, then we looked at a few angles here and there as we started to use straight lines to block out the drawing, and where angles were really important there. There weren't that many implied lines, perhaps a few, but implied lines we can use as well. And then we rubbed out the drawing, that sketch underneath, that kind of that we were happy with, and then we've gone over again with the second layer of like more refined pencil line. And I've also started to note the changes in from dark to light. So here on this leg, I haven't done it yet, so let's just note where the light's coming from this way, and then it's all in shadow here, so we can just note that down. And the reason we do that is we're going to start to shade soon and sort of choose where we want our darks, where we want our lights, and that these mapped contour lines are going to be a guide for us, a really good guide. So yeah, I think as well I want to look at my line weight. I want to do more on line weight next week. But line weight is essentially the thickness or the thinness of a line, and also, you know, how dark or light it is. So I'm going to choose my line weight. So perhaps where there's a lot of shadow, like here, I want to keep a dark line, shadow here. But then perhaps on the lighter side of the arms, I'm going to use the rubber and lift that off a little bit, so that there's variation and there's kind of nice things for the eye to dance around. And the important parts, the shadow parts, are given the attention that they need. So how long have we got left? We've got 13 minutes left. I'm going to start to shade and continue on. I think I made a bit of a mess of the face, but hopefully with a bit of tone on there, start to make sense. Just squinting the eyes to see what's wrong. The lining. I think the face was coming across too much. And just keep noticing, you know, if anything's slightly out, any of them tools that we talked about, just make a correction. I feel like this arm is too long, and this arm, I would like to bring them up. Maybe I can do that with the tone. Okay. Here we go. So. Just the first light shading. Going to leave the areas where there's the lingerie. Want to practice feet? Good idea, Lucy. We've got the hand practice in, so let's try and use that. Imagine that blocky wrist. Okay. So first layer of shading. Going to go with the second layer. Look for the areas that are a little bit more dark and the areas that I want to increase the contrast. Now, if you remember back to last week, Arlene Deal, she sort of simplified areas, so connected tones together. So I'm going to try and do that here. This part of the arm, I feel like we could connect that tone to the tone behind it. And that might make a bit of an interesting effect. 5 minutes left. I think let's take a step back. And see what the drawing needs. Let's let the drawing speak to us. So take a step back for a moment and have a little look what's missing, what needs to be added, what needs to be taken away. I'm going to try and focus my camera a little bit better. There you go. So I need to resolve this face. I want to bring contrast on the hair. It looks a little bit spindly at the moment. I want to bring, boom. I want to bring the darks here. I want these shadows, darks here. So 3 minutes here where it touches the bed even. Okay, 3 minutes. I've got a game plan now. Higher contrast and being stronger at defining the outline of the hair. Let's do this. Get that ribbon effect. Remember to keep the tips of your fingers sharp. A few little directional marks of the hair. Okay, where else do I need contrast? Few seconds. we go. Bit of shadow under there. It just takes that little bit of stepping away and seeing what the drawing needs. What can you do to rescue it right at the end? Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think fairly happy. There's a few points that are jumping out at me. I'm gonna just take the eraser and make less of little bits, but let's have a look from a distance. How did you get on? There we have it. So happy with the proportions. I think, you know, could spend another hour, couldn't you, on the shading, on the rendering. But I think in terms of the accuracy, I'm happy with the drawing. Did any of the tips help you out? Did starting with that center line, finding them points, was that useful? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, let's send them in. Okay, we're going to go for a 5-minute break. Gonna turn the fan on, get a drink of water, but send in your pictures. When we come back, we'll have a look at them. We'll do a little review of the first pose, and then we'll do our second pose. Brilliant. Okay, so well done, everyone. 5 minutes. See you in 5 minutes. Send them in. Send them in. Tuesday night, work is done, can't go out, loo roll's gone, kettle's on, put your kettle on, pencils out, news is off, got take out, spend all night with good friends, best friends, life drawing till the end. Get your sketchbooks out, everybody's drawing, that's what it's about. Quarantine is boring, get your sketchbooks out, lock down life drawing. Ooh! Ow. Get your sketchbooks out, everybody's drawing, that's what it's about. It's what it's about. Quarantine is boring.
Quite boring.
Get your sketchbooks out.
I got my sketchbook out.
Lock down life drawing. Back. Woo! That was quick. It was a quick 40 minutes, wasn't it? Blimey. I hope you enjoyed it. Max is sorting out the emails. Thank you, Max. Thank you, everyone, for sending in your work. And let's take a look in a second. Yeah, if you've got any questions about the methods or about the way we're drawing, let me know. I'll try and answer them in the second half, the second pose. And all right, let's check. Let's check on Max. Are we ready to go? Couple more minutes. Cool. Right. Woo. Where's my water? Cheers, everyone. Right, let's have a look. Viewer gallery. I'm going to try and load them in and see if there's anything there. Looks like we've got some images. Fantastic. Oh, look at that rod. Wonderful negative space. What a strange pose that was. That was such a brain teaser, wasn't it? Like, whoa, you know, really good to kind of get us away from the thinking of the figure, thinking of our imagination, and really just, yeah, really just going with what we can see. Well done, Rod. I like that a lot. Ah, look at this. Lovely. Good alignment. Good measuring. Really nice lines. You've kept some energy there. But that's really looking in proportion, isn't it? Really looking good. Well done. No name on that one, but really well done. I love the red pencil, the sanguine. Oh, just, yeah, it's a really cool effect, isn't it? Ah, lovely. Look at this. This is looking a little bit. I love the way that they've got these negative spaces in the figure, you know, on the arms and the legs. I wonder if that was like a time running out of time, or that was a chosen thing. Either way, I love it. I think it's a really cool design. Love the texture and everything you've created with the hair, and it's looking really in proportion. It's looking really well observed, really lovely. You know, I'm thinking back and thinking to the things that I was aligning up, you know, like the elbows and the different things, and you've got them all there too. Really nice. really well done. Roy, great picture, absolutely great. Love this expressive shading and following the contours there. I hope the angulars, starting with the straight lines and everything, helped. It's looking wonderful, and you've brought back this kind of curved feeling to the model. She was very curved. She was very beautiful in that way, and you've captured that. I think really nice expression on the face. I didn't quite get to the face how I wanted to, and you've really done that less is more thing on the face, and I really like that. And paying attention to the eyelid bulging out and the darks under the brow. So really well done. Really like that, Roy. Well done. One from Laura. These are great. These are so good. Love it, Laura. It's such a good feeling to have that proportion mapped out, and then you can just go at the drawing with a bit more confidence. And I love the hair. I love the freckles. I love the way you've shaded. Yeah, it's looking really nice. Really, really nice. Well done, Laura. Craig's had a good shot. Well done, Craig. I love it, Craig. Is that charcoal? It looks like charcoal. Quite difficult to get like the finer detail, and you've gone for the larger shapes, which I love. Always good to head for them larger shapes first, and leave the detail till the end, and you know, you're sort of leading the viewer around this image really nicely. I really like the face, actually. I really like that brow line and that expression, and the darkness of the hair on that paleness of the face. So Craig, really well done. I love it. Keep going. I love it. Can't wait to see pose 2. Nikki, wow, another great one. Love it. Everyone's doing so well this week. Brilliant. I really like your darks. You know, you've gone in really dark in them dark places. You know, the shadows underneath the arm, underneath the leg, on the hand, and everything, and underneath the chin. Left the hair light, which is quite a cool choice. Changes the feel of the figure a little bit. I like that. You know, it's about your response, isn't it? We were talking about that last week. Your response coming across, and I think really well done. Really sort of, I can see you've rubbed out that shoulder line, you know, and made sure you've got it right, and that's what it's all about. Okay, this week, that accuracy training, correcting yourself, really good, really well done. No name on this one. We got a nice signature though. Yeah, really cool. That looks like, is it a charcoal pencil? We've got a little bit of smudging going on in the background. Yeah, no, really nice. Well done. Well done. Good features on the face. Nice bit of texture on the hair. I love that core shadow on the leg coming forwards, and the shadow that you've got on the bed and on the floor. Really good. Jeanette, Max has done really well. He's got so many emails sorted out. Well done, Max. Jeanette, this is looking lovely. This is awesome. So, although we've spent time, you know, we haven't lost the energy in these. You know, this is so subtle and so nice to look at. I'm really, really, really pleased with the images that are coming in. And Jeanette, fantastic. I hope the accuracy tips helped out this week. And that's the one we started with Rod. So if we missed yours, don't worry, we might get it to it in the second viewer gallery. But wow, really cool. Really off to a great start, aren't we? Yeah, way too many emails, Poppy. No, never too many.
Managed
really
to
cool.
Managed to get a couple more.
Couple more?
There's
Let's have a look real quick.
5 extra ones, which were quite nice.
Cool.
It's difficult to get all of them in the time, so if anyone's been missed, I do apologise. I'll try and get you in the next set.
Yeah, thanks, Max. So Max is going to get you in the second bit. We're going to jump into the second drawing now, and I think, let's revisit the gallery in a second. And for this image, really quite a challenge, real challenge for this one, jumping in the air. We just watched Billy Elliot, so I thought, great, let's get this ballerina picture, and it really is cool. Really nice picture. Just looking at your comments, some lovely work, wasn't it? Really amazing. Really good. Cool. We've got a few questions as well. So if you got any questions, I'll try and answer them in the second half, and then we'll look at more of your work. So look at this curve. Wow. Okay, we've even got hand and arm above the head, so it's going to be a really tall drawing. Quite thin and quite tall. So we need a lot of room on the page. Let's start with a center line. Now I've chosen this line. You might think, why have you chosen that line? Why have you not gone on the right hand side? I'll show you why I've chosen it. I want to get the maximum benefit out of that line. Okay, so if we start at the top, that's a salient point there. That's an interesting point for us, where the wrist is bending there, and we've got that point on the wrist, so that's really useful for us. Coming down, we've got the ear, so really nice to line up with the ear. Ear is such an important point on the figure. And then look, we've got underneath the chin there. It's touching the skin here, but perhaps not a point that we can get. Maybe a little bit of the clavicle there, collarbone. But I thought here, this part underneath the armpit, it's hitting there as well. So we're almost with one line. We're with one line, we're killing loads of birds, aren't we? This is great. And here, the wrist, the bottom of the wrist, at least it's crossing through, and we can mark that off. And here as well. So I think that was a good kind of central line. We can come off of it to the sides with some measurements. Okay, I haven't put the head measurement on this time. I think that's an extra challenge for us. But we'll say goodbye to the hand icon, and we'll go for it. So I'm going to use charcoal pencil. I forgot to turn the light on. Hold on. There we go. I'm in a bit more light now. But hey. Was it like a bit? Okay, where were we? Pose 2. Let's do it. Charcoal pencil at the ready, or whatever you've got to hand. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. 40 minutes. Let's start the timer. I'm going to leave that center line there, that alignment line there, for about the first few minutes, just to help us out, and then I'm going to get rid of it, so don't worry if it's annoying you. So straight line down the middle. Remember, try to match the size of your drawing with the size of the reference. Okay, so you don't want to go too far larger or smaller. Although if you are watching on your phone, perhaps you will want to go bigger, but perhaps on the TV. Okay, so we've got our top mark, and down here I've got my bottom mark, so I'm not going to go off the page. And now we need to make sense of find that head measurement. I love challenging you. Yep, that's the thing. We gotta have some challenge, haven't we? Right, I think I'm good. Instead of starting with the head, I think I'm going to find the midway point. Now, usually the midway point is the pelvis. So we've got kind of 4 heads at the top, 4 heads at the bottom. Just going to switch pencil so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. But because he's got his arm in the air, that's going to change the midpoint potentially. So let's try and find one. Arm stretched. I'm thinking top of his pants perhaps, or maybe the top of the wrist. Yeah, the top of the wrist is creating a wonderful midpoint for us. So that's brilliant. Can you see that there? I'll bring up the hand again. This is a brilliant midpoint just there. So we can mark that on our page and keep that as a really good salient point there. Okay, so head's a little bit strange because it's got some hair. It's got some. I think I'm going to go for the whole head with including the hair because it's so small compared to the whole model. Okay, I think there's a whole head above the head. And then maybe a head and a half below it. So something like this. A head and a half below it to the midpoint. And bearing in mind that head is, I'm using it with all the hair as well. Okay, down. Let's finish this off. We've got to finish the measurements off. There's a head. There's a head. There's a head. So actually, 1, 2, 3. So let's bring our end point up. So I make it 3.5 large, including the hair, heads to the middle point. Don't know if that's going to help you at all. That's the measurement I'm going with. You might find your own measurement. Okay, leaving up the line for just a little bit longer. Let's do our left and right boundaries. So I feel like we've got a head coming out here to where the nipple is. So the nipple's along that line somewhere. And head coming out this way, and actually this arm is a bit further in than that. And the knee is definitely a head away from this point. So this kind of box here helping us somewhat. Okay, that's the midpoint. Let's find out. I think I'm going to take away the line now and make it even more difficult for you. There we go. So I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to carry on finding points around the body and putting on the large shapes, the large masses. And, you know, really don't think about any detail, don't think about anything else other than trying to fit this on, okay, and contain it within the straight lines that I'm putting on the paper. You know, so think of a sculptor, straight lines, and you're chipping away at this block of marble or something. Got a couple of questions. What type of eraser do you think is best for charcoals? I'd say definitely get yourself a putty rubber, one of these medium putty rubbers, so you can move them into any shape. You know, you can make a blade like that, or you can use a larger surface and rub out a whole area. They're really good at picking up the charcoal and all sorts of things, and you know, much better than another type of rubber. I've got another one here. Got another one here somewhere. Don't know where it's gone, but the kind of, you know, the square rubbers that you get that are kind of more, you know, this kind of thing that you get in school, these cheap erasers, you're going to get much more of the success with this type of rubber. But this one, it's going to be a bit smudgy. Although I would say that this can come in handy if you're using graphite. It's quite good for smudging the graphite and creating a nice effect. So, you know, they're not completely useless, but these ones, so much better. Okay, let's get some drawing done and I'll answer some more questions. Okay. So that's the top of the head. If you're missing that line, just hold your pencil up like that against the screen. So that was the point there of the hand. That was the inside of the ear, wasn't it? So actually this is lining up with the nipple. The arm's coming out this wide. Then the hand starts to come in, the arm starts to come in and wrap around like that. There's our nipple, just below the head, lining up with the neck. And remember, this midpoint was the top of the wrist. So let's use that as an alignment here. And all the way over this side of the figure was where the foot's ending. Okay, so you can put a shape like that on there for now. This is halfway, just above that. This is our elbow finishing. Bottom of the arm. Look at that great negative space in there. In under this armpit. So the armpit, I'm going wrong a little bit, hold on. The armpit was on this line, wasn't it? Okay. Quite a complicated figure. That's it. I went too far out for the elbow. That second line that I put was for the elbow, wasn't it? Way too far out for that. Okay, not to worry. Nikki says, what size sanguine pencils do I recommend? Well, I don't know if I can recommend a size, but this brand is good. Stabilo Carbofello, really nice. Also, this brand of pastel pencil. It's rubbed off the pencil. I can't see it. I can't see the brand name, but this one's a little bit chunkier. This one's quite nice as well. I think they're the French brand. I can't remember what they're called. Sorry, I'll get back to you, Nikki, on that. Get back to you on that one. But the Stabilo Carbofello ones are just as good as the other brand. So really we're not interested in anything else other than getting this accurate, getting this in proportion. All other faults need to be secondary for this exercise. I've got a real difficult pose. Let's tackle the proportions first and then we can start to have fun with it. So just making an envelope for the hand there, look. Not drawing the whole thing. So the elbow there, that there, so the head is coming further in. Right, I've got an issue here with the arm and the body. I feel like I've gone too wide, so let's do some measuring. Let's work out what the issue is. So the head's quite square. Okay, I think I've just been too generous here on this part of the body. Where's my rubber? Where's it go? I need to have like a lined up spares, don't I? Because I keep dropping them. Where is it? There we go. Hey. Okay, yeah, so I was a bit zealous, like, is that the word? A bit eager on this side, and actually it's like a lot less this is all across, and the boundary of the body is somewhere there. So it's good that we started with this, you know, and we're working that out before we put detail on and shading, and then it's all in the wrong place, you know. No good. So really happy we worked that out. Bring the arm across. Right, so the ear was on that line, wasn't it? I'm not paying attention. The ear was on this line. Got to be aligning things. Here we go. So useful to bring us back to reality and say, no, you're getting it wrong. So useful. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that center line still coming in handy. Still coming in handy there. Okay, I think I'm gonna start to rub out my sketch and go in with a second layer of kind of detailed pencil and more refined contours. I still need to work out this negative space though. What's it lining up with? So in between the hair and the forehead, somewhere like that. Then what's the angle of it? It's going up. It's coming down. That's a bit better. That's a bit more representative of that shape, isn't it? So just carving in the block of the wrist there. Okay. Bird's happy about the drawing. He's saying you missed a bit. Check your salient points, Jake. I have been. I used the line, the centre line. What are you talking about? Okay. Right, it's looking a little bit more. A little bit more like it. I'm going to rubble this out now and go with that second wave of that more refined pencil work. How's everyone getting on? Conti, yeah, Conti, that's it. How did I not remember that? Conti was the other brand of sanguine. So there we go, we can just get rid of them measurement lines. Push it all back. How many belly buttons am I allowed to give him? Julie. Good point. I didn't even give him one. Yeah, one, I think. Depends if he's got some piercings or some stuff like that. Right. Cool. Let's go in with the more refined lines now. But remember, last time I mustn't lose sight of them tools that we've got. The alignments, the measurements, the salient points, the angles, the implied lines, the negative space even. In here, I can definitely sort out the negative space in here, underneath the chin. So let's go at it with another set of energy. Let's do this. Where do I want to start? I'm going to try and feel the form a little bit more as well. Give it some 3D. Start here, I think. Really thinking about the line quality now. The most important thing, the accuracy. Just drawing in the shadow side of the fingers. Just for now. So I want to wrap this around the body. Look for a little bit more subtlety in the lines, in the angles and the measurements. So drawing like this, what this is going to do, it's going to help that more direct drawing, them fast studies. I was talking to Zin Lim at one of his workshops. I think it was the beginning of this year, and I said, you know, what's the best way to learn? You know, is it just that direct drawing, just going in straight away, or is it the measuring? Is it the plotting, or is it, you know, the constructive drawing? And he said, you know, it's everything. You've got to do it all. The animators, the masters, they're doing it all. Okay, so it's not like one thing is the best way to learn. Learning all of them complement each other. So even if this isn't sort of more expressive and perhaps a final piece, it's still so useful. Going to start putting in the changes from light and dark, and as I'm doing it, I'm really trying to think of the form underneath. thinking of these muscles stretching the bones underneath the rib cage. I'm by no means an expert in anatomy, just a little bit of surface anatomy, what you can and what the reference will remind you of, things that, actually here, this deltoid here, that I should be, giving that some attention. But you don't need to know the muscles. You don't need, if you can see it, try and think what it's doing. Why is that muscle tensed or relaxed? And remember the rhythm and gesture. Where there's a contour, when there's a concave, there'll probably be a convex curve on the other side of the arm, on the other side of the figure. Try and keep that flow. And any anatomy that you do know, that you do pick up over the years, brilliant, and you can highlight that in your drawings. So I'm getting a bit carried away. Just kind of enjoying refining these lines. I need to step back in a minute and look at the broader picture. .11 minutes left, plenty of time. Still in the straight lines and some areas that haven't worked out. Okay, let's put on some tone. Using a 2B at the moment, 2B charcoal pencil. I feel like his head's a little bit big. I might reduce the size of his head, just get rid of some of this hair. Just keep an eye out all the time. What's not right, what's not. There. So take a step back. Yeah, the head was a bit big, I think. The arm on the left looks a bit chunky and a bit long. The leg looks a bit long. The thigh, you know. Yeah, perhaps I could bring his shorts on the left leg up a little bit. And this part of the arm isn't quite convincing me. I think it needs to be, either this needs to come out more, and maybe this needs to come out just slightly, and this in slightly, because this is, in the reference, this is further in, this is slightly further out. Okay, let's make them changes, and then I'm going to put on some tone. So really be strict with yourself. Take that step back, and you know, you might have drawn something really nicely, but take that step back and make that correction. Okay, it's the only way. Your eyes are going to be tricking you all the time. And check them. Check them always. Right, getting carried away with the details. Let's go back to this, reducing the size of the head. So I was adding a little bit this side. So the nipple lines up with this. And what else does it line up with? There. And this nipple lines up with them things. So yeah, we have a little bit more room to add a little bit more rib cage. There we go. Nice. Bit better, I think. Bit better. And I was going to lift up this short, wasn't it? Cool. Right, 3 minutes left. Let's put some tone on. Just sort of the same type of, just putting on one layer of the same type of shading on all the areas that are in shadow, just as a sort of beginning that I can then work on and into. That change there in tone on the wrist. Put his dark shorts on. Got a minute, just over a minute left. God, this time goes so quickly. Brilliant. It's helping to define the fingers there. I think I could probably, if I had more time, I'd go in with charcoal and make this a bit more expressive, a bit more, and keep going up into these shadows. But for now, a few seconds left. Let's just put some contrast in a few places. Keep his hair blonde maybe. Okay, there we have it. I can't wait to see how he got on. I think his hands got a bit big there. Okay, cannot wait to see how you got on. This is my second one. So, quite happy with the proportions. I think some of the features were probably getting a little bit big, like the head was getting out of control, wasn't it? And I needed to reduce that down. The hands probably got a bit bigger. I'd love to go on with some more tone and really clean up the drawing. But yeah, great exercise. Really challenging pose. Well done, everyone. Amazing work. And I cannot wait to see it. So remember, send it in now. Max is going to be working away on the emails. So send your work in. What's the address? It's jakebussell.art@gmail.com. Okay, send them in. I can't wait to see. While you're sending them in, I just wanted to say a big thank you to our patron supporters, Naomi Angel, Nikki Macro, Deb Buckton, Ian Clark, Annie, and Happy JL. Really, thank you so much. It's really appreciate it, and it's helped to bring some brilliant references to this this week's class. So, thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. Just going to check on with Max, how we're doing with the images, and keep sending them in, and I'll be back in a second. Brilliant. Okay, so I've got some more from pose 1 to show you straight away, and keep sending them in, and we'll get the other ones for pose 2 sorted. So brilliant. Let's have a look. These we've seen. Let's go to another gallery. Other folder. Okay. Got it. Here we go. Ah, brilliant. Oh, this is some of both. Fantastic. Poppy, this is awesome. Ah, love it. Look at that. Look at that red, and that's that second pose. Such a difficult pose there, flying in the air. You know, so much going on. Really, really well done.
It's the other folder. If you look, there's another folder in there. It says first image poses.
I'll go to that one first.
Because I can't add any when you lock that folder.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Poppy, we'll come back to your one. Thanks for sending it in. Right, these are from the first pose. Amy. Oh, I love this. This has got so much contrast in them select areas. You know, I hope you've been stepping back and seeing what the drawing needs, and you've really given it what it needs, haven't you? And I love the use of orange on the hair and the little kind of the waviness of that. I think that's a really nice image, Amy. I think, yeah, really well done. Louise, lovely. Looks like pastels. Wonderful stuff. Love it. Really, really quite refined and delicate for quite a you know, a messy kind of chalky material. I really love it, Louise. Working on the dark background as well. Bringing the lights out. I think that's wonderful. Love the contrast of the orange and the blue too. Well done, Louise. Annie, I love it. Oh, cool. So I can see your measurement points clearly, you know, and your proportions are good. Nice, some straight lines to help out with the proportions. Coming on with some layers of tone. I can see a strong core shadow on that front leg, which is really important. There was a lovely core shadow effect on that, wasn't there? They're really, really well done to pick that up. I think it's a good sketch, Annie. I really like it. Yeah, a nice contrast in them dark places too. So well done. Ian, this is cool. I like this. Love the hair going on confidently. Yeah, really cool. Didn't quite get to the feet. Was 40 minutes not enough? I'm joking. No, really good. You know, going on them shadow side of the fingers, really well done on over at the face. I like the expressive shading, and yeah, well observed. Well done, Ian. Steve, look at this. Very nice. Very delicate drawing. Wonderful confident shading. I like the way you've drawn the leg there underneath the hand. You know, so that you've got that leg in place, and then the hand is kind of like, you know, over the top of that. I really love that. Really, really cool. Good practice, that. That's wonderful sketch, Steve. Thanks for sending it in. Anna, oh, this is great. Again, with the toned background, a toned paper, nice texture on that, and coming in with the red pencil. Yeah, I really like it. Proportions are brilliant. I started to add a little bit of black there, which is nice. It grounds the figure. You know, you can feel that she's sitting. Really like it. Well done, Anna. Amy, oh, we've seen this one, haven't we? This is the first one from this group. So let's have a look at the other folder. See if Max has got to your emails. Here we go. Thanks for your hard work, Max. Okay. Boom. Oh, I've skipped a pose. Where are we? Artist gallery, no. I'm jumping around all over the place. Viewer gallery 2, there we go. Sorry guys. Alright, back to Poppy's drawing. As I said, love the red, love that pose. Really difficult second pose, wasn't it? It's like almost like nothing we've drawn before because it's in the air. You know, maybe thinking back to week 1, we did them swimming poses, a little bit similar to that, but you know, so different, and I like that. I really like your light side and your shadow side on the chest there and on the figure. One on the left's good proportions. Yeah, well done, Poppy. Is this Anna again? Again with the toned paper, even getting a little bit of that chalk for them highlights, and I love it. I'm getting a bit of a that music video, the sketch music video vibe, where the pants are. I don't know why. It's kind of cool. I like the negative space of that. Yeah, really cool. I love the little picking out of the ribs on the white there. What's up? Yeah, just coming in. Max has joined us for the review. How's it going, Max?
I like these ones with the paper and the sort of artistic background as well.
Oh, like the stripy tablecloth.
I find it adds something for me. Yeah.
You like seeing the background.
I like the tablecloth. Yeah.
Oh look, there's even a glass of water. So following the advice to the letter.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wow. What do you think, Max?
I love it. I really love it. I mean, you should critique it. I just love the line and the use of the darker outline on the edge. You know, it's almost like back to that image you were doing in the beginning with the negative space. You can see they've really captured the silhouette of the figure.
Really good silhouette, isn't it? And these flowing lines, you know, it looks like it's jumped out of a Disney film or something. It's really jumping off the page.
Yeah. Right.
And this kind of animation style, really nice on the jaw and the hair. Look at the hair like flowing in the wind and
it reminds me when you were doing the movement lesson and
gesture,
the line of action. You can see the line of action in that one really clearly. It's almost like he's still moving really on that page.
And I just want to point out, really well done to let the figure go off the page on the top and the bottom, because it's so easy to want to fit the whole figure in, and here you've let it bleed off the end of the page, and that's exactly what it needed. You know, you don't need to even show the whole figure to get that pose. So really nice. Brilliant. Well done, Amy. It's got some nice shading in there.
This one is the style, so stylized.
Bit of mixed media as well. That sort of looks like a Sharpie mixed with the charcoal. It's really nice. And thinking back to last week, I think, with where less is more, and you've not put on them, you know, the lines for the lighter side of the figure, and you know, let your mind fill in the blanks. I really like that. It's a
I also
good,
like the way
response.
the line is all on the right side, and there's no hard line to the figure on the left. And that's a really cool technique.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. And
Okay.
my brain was like, yeah.
Max is still behind on the stream. No, totally. Is this Cheryl? Looks like Cheryl. Good confident sketches. Love it. Love it. Nice bit of hatching. Good contrast. Nice texture on the hair on the left. Subtle facial features. I think your proportions are good as well. Yeah.
I think for me, it's the forward planning to think, two pictures, and you fitted them both onto one page. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to plan that far ahead.
It's a good hour and a half planning ahead.
I like it. I think it creates a really nice page. It's a really nice piece.
4 heads to groin, definitely. It's a good note too. Well done, Cheryl. Another one by Roy. Great line of action. Nicely simplified the hand into that envelope, that mitten. Yeah, really good, Roy. Really like the hand at the top. Really simplified into just a few lines. It's yeah, great, right?
Yeah, I like it. It's great. I love the box that Roy does around his images.
Yeah, it jumps out of the box.
Yeah,
right?
it really does. That 3D effect.
3D effect. That's it. Well done, Roy. That's great. Oh, Nick. Oh, fantastic. I really like this. The little bit of paper that we people do. It's like save the drawing, But I love it. It's such a good idea.
Is it a new piece? Is it a new little token each week, or is it the same one?
Yeah, Nick, are you reusing that name? These are the answers we need to know. Yeah, I mean, Nick could have drawn this a few months ago and just put the name on it. How do we know? No, I love it, Nick. Gone in with the charcoal pencil.
How does he get that effect of on the dark area? Is that the paper with the charcoal where he's getting that sort of textured effect on his shading?
Looks like quite a coarse grain on the paper.
Yeah, I really like it.
Cool. Yeah, it works well, doesn't it? Nice and a bit of variation, lighter lines, darker lines.
Well, Nick's saying it's a vintage tag.
Vintage tag. Okay. Yeah, I can see a smudge on it.
Love it, Nick. Love it.
Reuse, recycle, right? Brilliant. Holly. Oh, wow. That's got...
It's the face on this one that jumped out at me. I don't know, the hair and the head just looked... I loved it.
That's got movement, isn't it?
I think it's the shadow on the cheek. It makes it so 3D. The cheek area.
Yeah, a little bit of coarse shadow on that chin.
Mm.
Really nice, Holly. Yeah, really cool. Love the dark pants.
It is really hot in here, isn't it?
It is. You're sweating.
That
aren't
studio light. I'm sweating. How do you do a whole
I
hour
don't
of this?
know. The window's open. Louise. Love this. Love it. Louise, you're so good.
She really is.
Yeah, great. Have you come in with the pen? No, it looks like you're using the smudging and then coming in with the sharper lines over the top. Great use of tone. Showing the fold of the fingers there, showing them shadow side of the body, under the chin, on the cheek. Really nice, Louise.
I always look forward to seeing Louise's ones, and I also really appreciate the use of putting the figure slightly off to the side and putting the name in. It's like even that bit's fall about. I like it.
It's cool. Wonder what font that is. It's great. No, well done, Louise. Yeah, I really like it. I like your sort of on this right hand side as well. There's some straighter lines, and some of the contours have been exaggerated just a little bit, and it's really nice. Cool. got a no name, but it's a strong drawing.
Yeah, I liked it. I just like, again, it's another one where I liked the silhouette, and I liked the dark line.
Stripy pants,
Yeah, I didn't notice that at first.
good silhouette, isn't it?
And I think
really paying attention to the negative space. Look at in between the arm there.
yeah,
and the armpit.
the shading on the chest, and I like the minimal face as well.
Yeah, that's good. Brilliant. Thanks for sending it in. Is that it? Is that what, yeah, we're good?
I think did we do that one already? Didn't see it.
Oh, it went blank. Cheryl, we've had this one. This was a two-parter, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, I thought this was maybe we got a different Cheryl. Thanks for sending it in. Yeah. Comments, Bex? I like that the line of light. Sorry, coming down the centre. You know, from the collarbone right down to the. Oh, we've got a missing belly button. Quick, put it on, quick.
Someone was saying they wanted to put a few belly buttons on the go. I was reading in the comments. It was really making me laugh.
Brilliant. I like this sketch, Cheryl. Yeah, it's got a good expression. That's lovely. Leaping in the air.
It's the way the you've got that consistency of those white and dark areas. It really ties the whole thing together as a consistent style. That's what I liked about this one.
It's the turning edge. The turning edge on the form.
That's what
the
it's
light turning into the dark.
Yeah.
And that being so clear. That's lovely. Yeah, well done. Oh, Debbie. Oh, Max, you've done loads of these. Brilliant.
Yeah, I tried to be quick.
40 minutes. Debbie, love this. Got some real expressive shading here, and following the contours. You know, that leg. That's got speed almost. You know, coming towards us. The fire there, and I love that shading. It's really helping that. I can see you were paying attention in the hand last week. Got some good structure to the hands. I love the overall shape.
I really like Deb's work. I think for me, it's, when you take the image away from the reference and the image, you just think, I'm not interested in the image anymore. This is a piece of art, and I love looking at this. It's captured it. It's got that style to it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Definitely. Has a life of its own, doesn't
Exactly.
it? Cool. Brilliant. Thanks so much for Max is escaping. He's in his dressing gown. Thanks so much for joining this week. Let's look at what we got next week. Oh, you got something in there. A fly or something. What we got next week. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. How to draw the Loomis head. Okay, so that classic Andrew Loomis head sketch. We're going to look at that. Going to do that in a load of different angles, and that's really good for placing on the features. Wrapping round, placing on the features quickly on the head. Understanding the Loomis head. Really good to know. So definitely tune in next week, and we'll go through that. We're also going to look at line weight. Okay, I've got an artist spotlight lined up, and he's really good with his use of line weight. So we'll get some inspiration there. And yeah, we'll look at some more of your brilliant work. So I really hope you enjoyed this week. If you have, give us a like. Think about subscribing to the channel. And yeah, that's amazing work, wasn't it? I really liked doing the long poses. Actually, it was it's quite different, wasn't it? It was quite a challenge as well. Challenging poses. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Stay hydrated, and yeah, stay safe. I'll see you next week. Keep drawing. Tuesday night, work is done, can't go out, loo roll's gone, kettle's on, put your kettle on, pencils out, news is off, got take out, spend all night with good friends, best friends, life drawing till the end, the bitter end. Get your sketchbooks out, everybody's drawing, that's what it's about. Quarantine is boring, get your sketchbooks out, lock down life drawing. Ooh. Ow. Get your sketchbooks out, everybody's drawing, that's what it's about.
It's what it's about.
Quarantine is boring,
Quite boring.
get your sketchbooks out,
I got my sketchbook out.
lock down life drawing.